Hey guys, welcome, and to some of you, welcome back. For today's video, I'm going to go over the updates for the F-104G, the EFM version. This is the first update coming from the developers. There's a link in the description for the F-104 Discord where you can go get this update. It's just a file. It's just a DLL file that you replace the one that you already have in the bin folder. Or temporarily, I have put a link for the actual file right here in the description, and you can get that temporarily from here and just replace it in your bin folder. Now let's get into the video. There's two changes I want to talk about in the video, and then I want to have a discussion about the third thing that's affected. The first change is the Cobra. The Cobra maneuver, some of you guys have seen, some of you have done with the F-104. Obviously, the F-104 cannot do the Cobra. The reason Cobra was happening was because the flaps were not configured correctly. Basically, the flaps were preventing the airplane from stalling and spinning when getting into that high angle of attack attitude. And but now that is fixed. As from this video that you're gonna see, I got my flaps down. I got the flaps down to takeoff position. You can see I'm turning. I'm gonna pull up, and there goes the airplane. Nose up. That's a stall. And right into the spin. Okay, this is a spin. I'm trying to recover 20,000 feet, spinning down. For testing purposes, the way testing was done, anything above 15,000 feet, that's where the testing was done. If you lost control of the airplane and were under 10,000 feet, you immediately ejected. Now it's about 12,000. Okay, looks like it's recovering. Oh, I actually managed to recover this. No, this is recovering. 10,000. That's fine, but we are under control, so we don't have to eject. Okay, let's just pull out. So this was actually amazing. I'm actually surprised that I was able to recover from this stall spin. It's very hard, even with the flaps. Basically, that is the first change that's going to affect this update. You will no longer be able to do the Cobra maneuver without stalling and spinning. The nose will come up, but then your plane will be out of control. So don't try not to do it. The second change in this recovery actually has to deal with flaps also. When we got into these stall spin situations from pulling the nose a little bit too high, and we ended up in a stall spin situation that was unrecoverable. Now, some people figured out that actually if you put the flaps down, the airplane recovered most of the time. Basically, the problem is related to the Cobra we had earlier. Once the Cobra problem was fixed, this problem was fixed too. So now you can see I'm going to stall and spin the plane. We're in a spin, and I'm going to put the flaps down, and the plane is not going to recover. I'm going to try to recover it, but the plane is not going to recover. At least the plane will not recover in most cases. We're going to eject and get out of it, but that is the change. That's going to affect it. So if you were one of those guys that got into spins, put the flaps down, recovered from a spin, that's not going to happen anymore. The last thing I want to talk about, it impacts the flaps, and this is something that's been there. I just want to mention it because I did notice that a lot of people are talking about flaps, and a lot of people are talking about dogfighting with flaps. Now, you can do it. I have my personal views on that. I don't think they help as much as people think they do, especially for the 104, something that's like a rocket. It's really designed like a rocket, and that's how you should use it. Just use that speed, get up high, come back and get the guy. Don't play with somebody close to the ground with flaps. That's really not the F-104 strength. But if you do want to use the flaps, I do have to tell you that there is a limitation on flaps. According to the manual, the takeoff flaps should be used between 0 and 450 knots or Mach 0.85. So whichever comes first, 450 knots or Mach 0.85. So now a lot of you are saying, well, no, I've heard and I've read, and that's not true. You should be able to use the flaps at any speed. No, not according to the manual. Some pilots may have done it. Some pilots may have even talked about it. And some pilots may have actually exceeded it occasionally. But according to the manual, the maximum speed for the takeoff flaps is 450 knots. What does that mean? That means that up until that point, 450 knots, you are guaranteed, structurally guaranteed for the airplane to stay whole. After 450 knots, there's no guarantees. What that means is the airplane and the flaps may take it and go up to 500, 550, but it's not guaranteed. So what was done for the mod, about 450 knots, Mach 0.85, whichever comes first, there's some damage that starts to occur. As you can see from flying here, I'm actually flying between around 450 knots without any problems. I'm retracting the flaps and I'm extending them again. There's nothing wrong with them. But now I'm going to go up into the 500s. Well, once I stay here for a while, you can start seeing the airspeed. It's going to start fluctuating and then it's going to start dropping a little bit. That means that the damage has occurred. At this point, when that happens, you cannot retract the flaps and you're going to get a lot more drag. If you're flying straight and level, you can still hold 400 knots or so, but once you start turning, that speed is going to drop fast. It's not a problem if it happens when you're alone or flying in formation or something, but it's a big problem if this happens during combat. So just be aware that at 450 knots, if you go past that, be careful with using the flaps. Okay, they're going to start getting some damage, and once they're damaged, that's it. You can fly it, you can land it. I've done it several times. It's not a problem at all. The only problem is if you're in combat and that breaks, you're in big trouble. So that's it, guys. That's the two updates and one thing that I wanted to talk about. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for downloading the F-104. I think it's a great mod. I think it's just going to get better. And you know what, guys? Take care, and I'll see you guys soon.